Some fun facts about him in a moment, but for now, in the top right side of the map, it's going to be the blue Terran player KeeN.
In the bottom left, as the red Terran player, it's ByuN.
Okay, and I really hope ByuN wins at least one of these games that doesn't get 2-0'd, or I'm going to feel really stupid about making his intro for him. Versus KeeN in the overlay title 2 TvT. Boom, updated. So, again, it's not even something super amazing, and I'm not trying to build it up to be more than it is. I had a lot of fun after yesterday. We had the whole one ByuN man. I should give you guys a bit of hint of what I got cooked up here. And I just want to make something cool for him that we could play on stream, kind of to celebrate his, like, what, almost 40 consecutive tournament wins or something retarded. Like, someone put the quote.
If you combine all the other ones that he's played in?
Yeah.
Probably.
ByuN is kind of insane. But the thing I want to talk about, actually, so I learned this, right? Despite winning all these cups and having hundreds of dollars coming into him at a time, he doesn't own his own StarCraft 2 account. The Speak Now account is not actually his, but a friend's, and that's why he uses it. And I guess, because you and I had swore that we saw ByuN play on a ByuN account, right? Yeah. Last time he played on that, for some reason that flagged it, and it got shut down. And I don't know, maybe there's a big translation error, because he couldn't explain why. But yeah, so I said, dude, just buy one. He says, I will on the 16th. And I don't know why the 16th, but maybe we'll see ByuN actually have a name on the 16th. That would be nice.
Maybe he's getting it for early Christmas.
I don't know.
He's Jewish.
I only found out about this
Happy Hanukkah.
because I was like, hey, I got a spare Helt's Boot time portrait code. Like, do you want one, man? Like, it's rare.
Wow. Wow. So that ByuN would walk around with our portrait.
That's kind of what I was hoping for too, just a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
I see it. I see it. Okay, what's happened in this game? I believe KeeN went for a faster gas, later barracks type deal, so his starport's select quicker. Of course, ByuN went for a command center, so going more defensive most likely.
Yeah.
So has to defend against what I think is going to be a Banshee, it looks like, with this tech lab coming.
I would be surprised if we don't see a Cyclone come out of him. He may end up going for the starport anyways for his own Banshee. It is ByuN after all, and if there's one guy who likes Banshees in TvT, it's him. But I am a little bit worried because his timings are a little bit awkward. If he got under that starport, that would have been fantastic, actually. Just deny a little bit of time there. But he now knows it's a Banshee, and I'm hoping we see a tech lab.
Oh my god.
Down.
Oh my god, he's going to take care of this Hellion.
Almost. He could have, I think, if he's dedicating to it, but he's, I guess, a little distracted back at home.
But it's still so many SCVs down for KeeN, who's already down in SCVs because of the opener. Oh my god.
Reapers are pretty good against Hellions now, but only when there's one of them. Two of them can clean this up a lot easier.
Target fire the last couple SCVs, maybe?
Yeah, get some more kills. He's 7 workers dead.
Oh god. Well, that's pretty good for ByuN, who is now on his way to his own starports. He's getting a Hellion because he's a bit worried about the frontal push, but yeah, Cyclone would have been a lot more helpful. His engineer bay only just started. As the Banshee comes across the map, he might be a little late on that missile turret.
I really thought he was going to be forced into a Cyclone here, like just the necessity of defense, but this is almost cooler that he's not going for it, because yeah, with turrets coming down shortly, his timing should be alright. He might bleed out a couple of SCVs. As long as he doesn't bleed out too many, he'll be alright, because of course he took down so many of KeeN's already, but depots are down. This is dangerous.
It's a bit of a bait.
Yeah, almost. Here comes that Banshee.
Cloak not quite done. Oh, there it goes. So the missile turret's going to be picked off, and that is a fairly important one, as you don't want that Banshee killing your supply depots, killing your reactor. At the very least, you want the detection for the Marines.
Oh boy, this is... it's tough. There's a Cyclone coming out a little bit later. This is going to be able to hold, though. I mean, the worst part about playing this sort of thing in a TvT is just knowing that you have to be patient. You have to take some losses. Banshee's out of juice. Lock-on could be broken by a quick cloak. Not going to get it, though.
Yeah. Sacrifices the rest of his army to kind of save that Banshee, though. Attacking and retreating was never going to go that well for KeeN. So ByuN now has more SCVs, more army, and is now going on the offensive as opposed to just purely being defensive. And this is all spelling to be, like, well, basically not great for KeeN, who is now going to be an entire command center behind as ByuN starts his third.
Auto turret does a lot of damage now.
Yeah, but it doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it's kind of leaking, trying to pick up the Marines in there. Engineering at the front's a bit odd to see. Didn't realize that's where KeeN had placed it. So I guess a couple of things really quick to touch on coming out of chat. First and foremost, people are asking, are the VODs for this going to be released? So our VODs are public. You don't have to be subscribed to check the VODs on Twitch. But as far as on YouTube, they tend to come much slower, much later because, frankly, a lot of people just don't watch our YouTube. This Marine is going ham, by the way. Jesus.
The micro versus the SCV. Just, you should have picked it up in the medevac.
Whatever, I got some kills for it.
Oh, God.
Back at home, we have a Banshee approaching.
Yeah, thanks to Ozlord Gaming for subbing 6 months in a row.
Up and coming caster. Hype. The other thing I want to touch base on was Yoga. It's asking about going to Toronto. Is it for personal reasons or what? So a lot of you guys know, if you're subscribed to the channel and you saw the secret sub message last month, you know our long-term plans with going to Toronto. But for now, I guess technically it comes under personal, but it is for business later on.
It's very important to rewrite on our travel documents.
Well, you have got to write personal, because if you're in business, you're gonna get like detained.
Yeah.
It really isn't technically business though. It will be later. But anyways, we're trying to keep it cryptic because it's for our subscribers to know. Everyone knows we're going to Toronto. That's gonna be fun times. We'll see cool content. And I was thinking, you know what we need to do? We need to have a fan meetup, dude. There's so many people who live in Toronto. We need to try and organize something.
All right. Not opposed.
Trist's gonna take some shots, but the medevacs are just pushed away, so they're not gonna risk going in there without a boost off cooldown. Third base for ByuN gets planted down, so a little bit ahead of KeeN in this regard. He's also got those upgrades rolling for him, so looking a lot better just in general, but I don't think he's gonna break KeeN in the near future. This might just be one of those things where he's gonna have to play a little bit longer before he can take a good fight.
Yeah, that's probably what it's gonna be. But he's up in army, he's up in workers, he's up in upgrades, except for that stim. If KeeN had any pressure, we could do something with that stim, but he's just purely defensive right now. Only enough medevacs to pick up 2 tanks.
Ooh, and you know, this gap of combat shield, like, okay, stim's one thing for sure, and that could hurt for ByuN, but combat shields can make a big difference too, if this ends up being like stim and combat shields versus just stim. We rarely see that timing hit, and I don't think that's something that we will have affect this game, but it's always just worth noting that this 30-second, 40-second combat shield lead is going to be huge if it gets a chance to play a factor.
ByuN is maybe not looking for that frontal break, even though he might be able to get away with it, all those upgrades lining up. He's still just moving around the map with those medevacs. Cyclone's going to see a push out of Marines. Well, not quite.
I love that he kept the Cyclone patrolling. It's fast enough to run away from Marines and Hellions. It's quick enough to snipe off a medevac if it wants to. And of course that tank fire delay means that the Cyclone can usually outrange it. It's driving backwards right now. That looks really weird.
Yeah, it does. There it goes. It fixes itself. So there's ByuN finally gathering the rest of his army. A Viking's taking care of the Raven harass.
Gonna be auto turrets though. This is gonna be pretty nasty.
These are pooled. Viking might go down. Ooh, that was close.
Oh my god, auto turrets do such a stupid amount of damage zombie up. Seriously. Focus fires it. KeeN clicked that to make sure that happened. So the Raven gets away for just a little bit longer. About 5 SCVs die, nothing too damning, but oh, ByuN, what are you doing? ByuN, please!
Loses 1 medevac and 1 siege tank for no particularly good reason, but still has a army lead and those upgrades, of course, too. Looks like combat shields and 1-1 will finish, though, by the time ByuN is ready to push. I don't know what he's going for this direction. It's going the long way around.
The long con. Marines are just kind of scattered around trying to catch these drops. It's been unfortunate that they didn't see this positioning, but it gets scanned now, so eyes on the army, of course. Some medevacs are loaded up over here. Not a lot of turrets, nothing at home. Could be dangerous.
It's all in the main base. I mean, it is suspicious to see only tanks defending the natural, or the third. But it's those towers.
Not even tanks.
At the third? He's third.
Oh, sorry. KeeN's third, yes. My bad.
Yeah. Because when you scan it, you see nothing but tanks. You check the main, still see not a lot of army. You gotta realize there's a drop somewhere. The drop actually unloads and is scouted by like an SCV or something. So ByuN moves his army back down to take care of it.
Well, Upgrades, maybe not going to play such a huge factor this game. Was really... It's always like a question mark in TvT, high-level TvT especially, because we will sometimes see that make a huge influencing factor on these fights, but not here. It snipes off that medevac. Really nicely done.
ByuN is slowly reaching to that max point, again with those upgrades. Going to be 1-1 ahead of KeeN. And if he allows KeeN to get maxed as well, he's kind of missing out on an opportunity. That's where you can start taking those good engagements, get a better siege tank lineup and whatnot, and actually bring yourself back into this game. You won't have a big of a bank as the player who was ahead the entire time, but you'll still have a decent shot at taking a good fight. Here, though, KeeN is still down by about 30 supply, and that was not good at all.
ByuN actually took some really bad tank shots walking into that, but he had so many Marines it didn't matter. Picks off 2 of the medevacs and just this gigantic attack. Destroys half the army of KeeN. Unloads the tanks to try to go for another push. He can, of course, afford to lose some of these. SCVs get pulled, but I think KeeN pretty much lost this game, which means I get to play my stupid little video thing in a second.
Congratulations, Rifkin. That is truly what ByuN meant to do.
I know, right?
Please
Super duper important. In fact, I hope it just doesn't read the VODs more than anything else. But yeah, the command center of the natural base got killed. It wasn't saved. SV came out low. KeeN's gonna try and hold up the top of his ramp, but the problem is his natural base is the only thing he's got for income. The main's been mined out. It was muled to death. ByuN could just probably push up here eventually, win the game through attrition more than anything else.
Looks like that armor upgrade is going to get the finish. The oddly placed engineering bay.
Weapons did, so I mean it was 2-2 versus 1-1 for a lot of this fight. I didn't realize the Cyclone was still alive, by the way, until just this moment.
I'm helping.
I'm helping.
One Marine at a time.
Yeah, ByuN takes the 4th base while this goes on. GG.
GG.